Ladies and gentlemen, all right, listen up. Some of you are out here wondering, am I really blessed? Is God really working in my life? Well, let me tell you something. He's not just working, He's moving. He's shifting things in your favor. And if you don't see it yet, just keep watching because a woman who walks in God's favor, oh, she's different. She moves different. She talks different. You see, when you're favored by God, life doesn't get easier. No, no, no. But you get stronger. You get wiser. You start to recognize that even in your lowest moments, you're never alone. That's what favor looks like. It's standing in the middle of a storm with your head held high because you know who's in control. And let me tell you, when God's favor is on you, doors don't just open, they fly open. People will look at you and say, how did she get there? How did she make it? But they don't know the battles you fought. They don't know the nights you cried, the prayers you whispered, the faith you held on to when everything told you to let go. That's favor. That's the hand of God over your life. Now, I need you to understand something. God didn't bless you just for you. No, no. This ain't just about you. When you walk in His favor, you become a light. You become a living testimony. You start lifting others up without even realizing it. You walk into a room and suddenly the atmosphere changes. That's not you. That's the God in you. But favor doesn't mean you won't go through trials. No, favor means that even when you do, you win. You don't crumble. You don't break. You rise. Every battle, a lesson. Every setback, a setup. Every hardship, a testimony in the making. And when it looks like you don't have enough, when the money's tight, when the resources are low, when the odds are stacked against you, somehow, some way, God always provides. Because when He's with you, lack is a lie. Fear is a lie. Defeat is a lie. Now listen to me. If you've been questioning your purpose, if you've been wondering if you're on the right path, let me tell you something. Keep walking, keep pushing, keep believing. Because the more you trust in Him, the more your purpose unfolds right in front of you. The vision gets clearer, the mission gets stronger, and one day you'll look back and realize that every single step, every single struggle, every single tear was leading you to the life God always had planned for you. So stand tall, walk bold, and never forget you are a woman covered in God's favor. And when God is for you, nothing can stop you. Faith isn't proven in the easy moments. It's tested in the fire. When everything around you is shaken, when the weight of the world is pressing down, that's when real faith stands tall. A woman blessed by God's favor doesn't break under pressure. She bends. She endures. She keeps moving forward, even when the road ahead is unclear. She understands that God's promises don't expire just because circumstances are difficult. She knows what it feels like to cry in the dark, to pray when it feels like no one is listening, to hold on to hope when everything tells her to let go. But she refuses to be moved by fear, by doubt, or by the voices that say she won't make it. Her strength doesn't come from her own power, but from the one who carries her through every storm. She doesn't just believe in God when things are good. She trusts Him even when everything seems to be falling apart. Pain doesn't scare her. Uncertainty doesn't shake her. She understands that storms are not punishments, they are preparation. Every trial, every hardship, every delay is refining her, molding her into the woman God created her to be. She walks through the fire knowing that she won't be burned because the same God who was with Daniel in the lion's den, with Joseph in the pit, with Esther in the palace, that same God is with her now. She holds on to His word like an anchor, knowing that if she has nothing else, she still has Him. And that's enough. No matter how dark it gets, no matter how heavy the burden, she stands firm, unshaken, unbreakable, because her faith is built on the rock that cannot be moved. Sometimes doors swing open that you never even knocked on. Opportunities show up that you didn't chase. People come into your life at just the right moment. Connections form and blessings unfold in ways you never could have orchestrated on your own. That's what happens when God's favor is on you. A woman walking in divine favor doesn't have to strive the way the world expects. She doesn't have to beg for a seat at the table. God builds a table for her in the presence of those who doubted her. She's seen it happen too many times to call it coincidence. The job she wasn't qualified for, but somehow got. The financial breakthrough that came just in time. The right person crossing her path at the exact moment she needed guidance. None of it is random. God goes ahead of her, aligning things in ways she couldn't predict. Where others hit dead ends, she finds a way through. Where others struggle to gain access, she walks through doors that were supernaturally unlocked. It doesn't mean she never faces challenges, but even when obstacles arise, solutions come faster than expected. The right words come to her mind in difficult conversations. The resources she needs appear at the perfect time. What others work years to accomplish, she achieves in a fraction of the time, not because she's better, but because God's hand is on her life. She may not always understand why things happen the way they do, but she recognizes the fingerprints of God on every open door. She doesn't take the credit. She gives glory where it's due. And because she walks in gratitude, the favor keeps flowing. One door leads to another, and before she knows it, she's standing in places she once only dreamed of. There is a kind of peace that doesn't make sense to the world. It's not tied to circumstances, not dependent on comfort, and not shaken by the storms of life. A woman walking in God's favor carries this peace with her everywhere she goes. It's the kind of peace that allows her to stand still when everything around her is shifting, the kind that keeps her heart steady when the news is bad, when the bank account is low, when the people she trusted walk away. She doesn't ignore reality, but she refuses to let fear control her. She understands that true peace isn't found in the absence of problems, but in the presence of God. Others may wonder how she stays so calm, how she doesn't crumble under pressure, how she keeps smiling when everything seems to be going wrong. What they don't see is the time she spends in prayer, the way she surrenders every burden to God, the quiet moments where she reminds herself that He is still in control. This peace gives her a different kind of strength. She doesn't react out of anxiety. She doesn't make desperate decisions. She moves with wisdom, knowing that God's timing is perfect. Even when she doesn't have all the answers, she trusts that He does. This trust allows her to sleep at night when others are restless, to walk in confidence when others are afraid, to speak with kindness when others are consumed by anger. It doesn't mean she never feels pain or disappointment, but even in her lowest moments, she refuses to let worry take over. The world can't give this peace, and the world can't take it away. It is rooted in something deeper, something eternal, something that cannot be shaken. Some people walk into a room and shift the atmosphere without saying a word. A woman blessed by God's favor carries that kind of presence. She doesn't just exist for herself. Her life is a light that shines on others, lifting them up, encouraging them, reminding them of their worth. She speaks life where there is doubt, brings hope where there is fear, and sees potential where others only see struggle. People are drawn to her not because of what she has, but because of who she is. She moves with grace, with wisdom, with a quiet strength that inspires others to believe in themselves. She doesn't have to force influence. It flows naturally from her because she walks in alignment with her purpose. She sees the best in others, calls out their gifts, and challenges them to rise higher. When someone is weary, she becomes a source of encouragement. When someone feels unseen, she reminds them that God has never forgotten them. She doesn't just give advice, she leads by example. The way she handles challenges, the way she trusts God through uncertainty, the way she treats people with kindness and respect, these are the things that make her stand out. Even in her own struggles, she finds ways to uplift others. She doesn't compete, she collaborates. She doesn't tear down, she builds up. Her confidence isn't rooted in pride, but in knowing exactly who she is and whose she is. The favor on her life isn't just for her, it overflows to those around her. Whether she realizes it or not, her presence alone inspires others to walk in faith, to dream bigger, to live with purpose. She doesn't need recognition or applause. She simply knows that she was created to be a blessing. A woman blessed by God's favor knows that every battle has a purpose. She has walked through fire and come out stronger. She has faced betrayal, loss, setbacks, and moments where she questioned everything, but somehow she kept going. What was meant to break her only built her. What was meant to silence her only gave her a louder testimony. She doesn't see obstacles as the end of the road. She sees them as part of the journey. She has learned that battles are not punishments, they are preparations. Every tear she cried, every door that closed, every time she felt overlooked or underestimated, it was all shaping her into the woman she was meant to become. God was using the very things that hurt her to position her for something greater. The pain was temporary, but the lessons were permanent. She doesn't just survive her struggles, she grows from them. She gains wisdom, patience, and a deeper trust in God. She realizes that the things she once prayed for, she wasn't ready for at the time. But after the battle, after the refining, after the transformation, she steps into blessings that wouldn't have made sense before. The job that was denied led to something better. The heartbreak that almost crushed her led to a love more beautiful than she imagined. The waiting season that felt unbearable led to a breakthrough that was worth every second. She understands now that nothing was wasted. Every struggle carried a blessing on the other side. What the enemy meant for harm, God turned for good. She no longer resents her battles, she embraces them, because she knows that with every fight she is not losing, she is leveling up, stepping into greater, and walking deeper in her purpose. A woman blessed by God's favor doesn't always start with a clear vision of her purpose. There were times she questioned her path, felt lost, or wondered if she was doing enough. But over time, as she continued to walk in faith, the picture became clearer. The more she trusted God, the more He revealed pieces of the plan He had for her all along. She began to see how every experience, every struggle, and every lesson was shaping her into the person she was meant to be. She no longer tries to force doors open or chase after things that aren't meant for her. Instead, she listens. She follows the direction God places in her heart, even when it doesn't make sense to others. She pays attention to the passions that ignite her soul, to the ways she naturally impacts others, to the moments where she feels fully aligned with what she was created to do. What once felt uncertain now carries a sense of divine guidance. She understands that purpose isn't about a single destination, it's about obedience in every season. Some days, her purpose is in her career, using her gifts to serve others. Other days, it's in her family, being present and loving with all her heart. And sometimes it's simply in the way she carries herself, in the encouragement she gives, in the faith she holds on to when others are watching. God doesn't reveal everything at once, but He gives just enough light for the next step. And with each step she takes, the vision becomes clearer. She is no longer striving, no longer doubting. She is walking in purpose, knowing that she was placed on this earth for a reason and that every day is another step toward fulfilling it.